Now can anyone hear me? We're trying a new system here, so hang in there with us. You can hear me now. So this is, we're going to have to do it this way maybe. We're going to have to figure out all this. We're trying a new system, everyone. So welcome. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Andrew's here with me. We're testing sound, testing different things going on. We're trying a different setup.
I don't like
it. Andrew doesn't like it. We just got to get it figured out because I can't unmute the one because the one makes noise. We'll get it figured out. Really, we should have a separate microphone, and that's the issue. But yeah, I think we've got some sound. I have to have the other little window over there for you in order to get my sound on this camera right now. But we'll work that out in time. But right now, we're going to do a book sale. So Andrew has been going through his bookshelves and deciding some things that he wants to clear out of his bookshelves.
We used to sell books at the shop, but when we kind of changed things around, we took all the books out. If you all didn't know, I love a good craft book, and I used to work in the publishing industry. I used to write for books and magazines. So I have a very deep appreciation for everything that goes into making a book. Yeah, so I have a lot of books, and I've been trying to kind of streamline the studio a little bit because we've gotten just so much stuff. And plus I want to make room for more books. So we thought it might be nice to offer some books for y'all.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to check out today. Andrew's priced these really well for y'all. Tried to make sure that y'all were getting some of the best prices, even if you search online for lesser quality books or lesser quality copies of the books.
Mm-hmm. These are usually on, I think all of these are new. There's one ex-library book, but it's really good quality.
Yeah.
But the other one is autographed to me, so I don't want to.
He's like, I can't sell that one. All right, let's say hi to everybody. Suzanne is here. Norma is here. Donna, hello. Thank you for joining us today. Amanda's here. Donna is with, I said Donna, I think already, so I can hear you now. Good. Our neighbor, Susan, is with us. Thank you so much for joining in. Anne is here with us. Amanda says, picture quality looks,
Annie?
Anne Schroeder.
Oh.
Anne is here with us. Amanda says, picture quality looks great. This picture right here is on my laptop. We haven't done this very often, so I was hoping that the picture quality would look good. We're going to flip over to this other camera, which is going to be our top-down camera. We figured for showing books, it's going to be easier than having, usually we have a tripod right in the way, so it's going to be easier, I think, to show books this way. So that's what we're going to do when we get there.
Y'all.
What's that?
It's Mercury retrograde.
I know. I'm going to push our luck today.
Last night I can get that business to work at all.
So let's see here. Cheryl says, how do you do putting off evening walkies because books, right? Donna says, I'm so broke. My plumber came today. Thank goodness he got my 2 problems fixed, though. That's good. So nice and so reasonable. That's good, right? That's a good thing. It's always, plumbing is no fun. That is no fun.
We have to do some plumbing ourselves.
Yes, we have a few things we have to update. I don't see anyone over on Instagram. Hopefully I'm streaming fine on Instagram. It looks like I am, but hopefully everything is going okay over there. Usually we get some comments over there. It looks like everything seems to be going okay over there.
Are people coming
in?
Does it show people joining?
I can't see anything.
Usually it shows the people that join.
I don't see anybody over there right now. So check your, I don't know, maybe check your phone. Since I just publicized that we're streaming on Instagram now on all over our social media. and then it doesn't, we're not doing it, maybe. I don't know. But we're also coming at a weird time, so that could be why. Oh, there's Donna joined us over there. So it looks like it is working. It's just, there's Andrew. I see him joining in over there. So there it is saying people are joining. We're just not getting anyone yet. Donna says it's working fine. Good. Oh, Rose and Amethyst joined over on Instagram. Thank you so much. So we've got some craft books, some art books, lots of different books for y'all today. And I hope you're going to like them. I hope you're going to like them. What else is going on? If you're local to us, just to go through some of the daily things, if you're local to us, tomorrow is our last class of 2023 in store in Ligonier. So if you are in Ligonier, please stop by noon to 4. Jen will be there. Jen is our teacher. She also has her own business called JNT Creations. So make sure you go follow her on Facebook and check her out. She does our Saturday morning tutorials with us, which will restart in the new year. We're taking a break for the holidays on those, but she also teaches our in-store classes. So come and take a class with Jen before she heads off to visit family, and she'll be away for a few weeks. So we won't be having classes for a little while in store. So if you have any very, very, very last minute gifts to make that you want to make for your loved ones, come on in, take a class with Jen, and get some gifts made. It's a great time to do that, noon to 4, anytime on tomorrow. And you don't have to be there the whole time. Just come in, make your project, and go if you need to, or you can spend the whole day. It's up to you. Anything else? We are, I wanted to remind you that our tumblers, these are going to go away come January. So if you wanted to get one of these limited edition Strange Harvest tumblers, they are on our website. We make them right back here with our sublimation setup. And again, these are limited edition. These are for December, and they will be going away after that. So if you'd like to get one of those, please grab one of those. Anything else you want to add, Andrew?
I'm trying to mess with this business over here.
What's over there?
I don't know. It's too many things.
Too many things. People are joining over there. It looks like everybody's good over there. They're commenting.
Who's watching?
Donna, Rose, and Amethyst, and you.
I'm not watching anymore.
Well, it said you joined. It doesn't tell me you left. It doesn't tell me when people leave. Suzanne got the Instagram notification too. Good. Teresa's just joining in. Thank you so much. What else is going on?
You uploaded the pictures for Peach Fuzz Kit.
Yes, if you missed the Peach Fuzz Kit, we debuted that on Monday to give you a sneak peek of that. And we still have a few kits available, so I put the pictures in the online store and shared them on social media. So if you're wondering what does this kit look like before I go ahead and pre-order it, which now it's not a pre-order, they're shipping. So it is just an order.
Some of you might already have them.
Yeah, they've gone out in the mail. So some of you may be getting them or already have them with the holiday. You probably don't have them yet, but they are on the way to some people if you pre-ordered, and we got through a number of them. But if you haven't yet, you can check and see what it looks like. There's a lot in that kit. I was going over it with Barb today, and Barb was like, I don't know how you all aren't losing money on this kit. So
we probably are.
Let's hope we're not. But she's like, yeah, 2 of those strands, I would pay like $40 for just 2 of those strands in that kit. And you're paying $36 for the entire kit. So check that out. It is on the website, and you can get it there. We also still have a few Treasure Box 3. Or Treasure Hunt Box 3.0s available. Andrew's working.
Will go away soon, maybe.
Those, yeah, we're going to we're selling them for a limited time, and then we're taking those off the website. So if you haven't gotten one of those yet, get it, because once we take them down, that's the final count. There's no more to be made. So that is, Andrew is treasure hunting through the bead room here at Star Cottage Studio, and also
it's a mess.
And also his private stash. Yeah, we're showing you the nice part right here.
It's a mess,
but it is a mess because he's been treasure hunting through every nook and cranny and every container and every bead box and everything.
We moved stuff for him arcade, And I've been trying to come, but with Barnaby sick and then being down in Florida, I haven't had a chance to really get in here and organize.
No.
Making me itchy.
So help us organize by buying some treasure hunt boxes and shipping this stuff out to you.
Correct. Help.
So, help. Help me. So we have that going on. We still have a few of the lucky New Year boxes. Those, if you can't tell what that background is, they're little gold troll dolls. So maybe that's not like, do you remember the troll dolls? I love the troll dolls. And I think the background of the image, there are so many of them that it's hard to tell that that's what it is because they're glistening in gold. But that's going to be one of the components to that box. And I think that's so cute. So, or that kit.
You don't remember those?
I remember those. I had troll dolls.
People used to go crazy for them.
Yes. I think mine was green haired. I had a little green haired one.
Didn't it used
maybe
to be
orange
like
hair
people
too?
Would, I mean, they were like the Beanie Babies of that time.
Yeah, people used to collect them, and
some people still do.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Donna says, I have my troll dolls from the 60s. She also says, I've never been disappointed in any of your kits. They're always so generous. We try. And
yeah, I hate to get a how you call that,
skimpy. Nobody likes skimpy, right?
Yeah. I like to feel delighted.
Anne says, I'm excited for the Peach Fuzz kit. I already have 2 design ideas. Awesome. Shelby Scott, PSD, joined us over on Instagram. Thank you for joining in. I don't know if you're still there, but please, if you're on Instagram, say hi. We don't stream on Instagram. We haven't streamed on Instagram much, but we're starting now. So
we just are allowed now.
Because we're now, it's all connecting. They're allowing us to stream directly to Instagram with our other streams. So if you are over there, or if you prefer to watch us on Instagram, please feel free to move over to Instagram and watch us there. We're going to try and do all of our live streams from there as well, along with Instagram, along with Facebook and YouTube. All right.
Build it up a little.
Build it up. Please. And let people know. Let your friends know. Tag your friends. Let them know we're live. We're doing a craft book and art book sale today. Really good deals on books. Donna says, mine had pink, orange, and green hair. Andrew's hands waving in the corner.
I got tired of standing.
One of them has a jewel in the belly button. I remember the ones that had jewels. I remember seeing those. The other thing, we announced our Allegory Gallery 2024 New Year's Design Competition. And we have a number of people who have placed order for wooden pendants. So I think,
thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I think we're going to have a good, hopefully a good turnout for that competition. So if you haven't gotten your wooden pendants, that is the only necessary thing you must have to take part in that competition, is at least one of our Allegory Gallery wooden pendants. And you can find those on our website. There's a whole tab under the shop tab just for those, so it's easy to find. Grab one of those, have them shipped out to you, and you can join in on the competition and win up to, what is it, $100 gift card and 5 inspiration kits. 5 inspiration kits. That's the grand prize, $100 gift card and 5 inspiration kits. We're also going to be picking 5 other winners and 2 other winners, depending on what category you're in, all getting gift cards. So lots of stuff going on. You can enter as many times as you want, but each entry has to have a different AG wooden pendant. Teresa says, oh, my Williams vessel's on its way. My next package will be my lucky kit. Awesome. Yes, I got the vessel to Barb, and she's got it out the door, ready to go. I have some new pottery. I was going to bring it and show you today, but I didn't. We were carrying enough stuff out the door. I was not going to try and pack that up today. No. It's been icy here and slick, and I don't need to carry too much. No. So I do have that. I'm going to be showing that on my William Tries Things page here very soon. So if you don't follow me on William Tries Things, search that on Facebook. And it's also on Instagram. I haven't done as much on Instagram. I need to work on that.
I love Instagram.
Yeah, Andrew is on Andrew Thornton Artist. So if you don't follow him, please do.
And if I don't follow you back, don't get your feelings hurt, because I see people on Facebook, Instagram, my private Instagram.
Yeah.
So I kind of just have that set for just the Instagram stuff.
That's his business one. So it's like business stuff.
Yeah.
Chris Caitlin joined us on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining in. Please feel free to say hi. This is Allegory Gallery. If you don't know us, we are a bead store located in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. Caribbean999 joined us on Instagram. Thank you so much. And we love to chat with you first. So we do lives almost every weekday. For a while, it was every weekday. We've been a little hit or miss now with some things going on, but we're trying to get back to every weekday again. And we usually go around 5 to 6 p.m. Sometimes a little later. We're night people. Sometimes we go very late, have like pajama parties. But
usually we let people know if we do that.
Yeah, usually we'll post on our Facebook page if we're going to have to go late.
We've been trying to go a little bit later, so around 6:30, 7, because there's less competition.
That and yeah.
There's a couple people who started going live at the same time, so it kind of spaces things out.
And it just gives us a little bit of extra time, especially with Barnaby lately and things going on, like to make sure everything's okay in between before we just have one long day of work and not getting home. So, yeah.
He's doing better, by the way.
He is doing much better. Barnaby is doing much better.
Miracle,
yeah. We thought he was a goner, really.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like this close to making the call, but he's back. He seems to have rebounded. He's eating on his own and eating big gulps of food today.
Running up and down the
stairs. So we're very happy. He's our cat, by the way, if you're wondering what we're talking about.
He's still a little bit congested.
Yeah, he's working through that with antibiotics and steroids.
But it's not anywhere near as bad.
No.
And yeah, he's just in a better mood.
Yeah, he's following us around, jumping up, hanging out with us again. He was, so for all of you out there wondering, he's doing much better. He's taking walks outside. I took some videos of him taking walks outside today. Terry Trudell joined us over on Instagram. Thank you for joining in. If you're over on Instagram, feel free to say hi. Join the AG Bead fam out there. We love to add you to our little family. We have both a physical store located in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, and we're online at allegorygallery.com. So hopefully you will join us. And if you're beading people or like to make jewelry, we've got lots and lots and lots of good stuff in our online store and our physical store. Just ask any of our regulars here with us today. Everyone's saying, yay, Barnaby. Barbara, hey, Barbara, joined us on YouTube. But I like that you're live on OG, maybe Instagram, IG. Yes, we are now live there because Barbara Bechtel. I forget. I know you told us how to pronounce that. Bechtel, right?
We've just said it so many times.
I know it's going to take a while. I think it was Bechtel. IG, yes. Yeah, they finally are. We use StreamYard for our streaming service, and they finally plugged in. Well, Instagram allowed them to plug in, so we can now go live over on Instagram too, which is great. So thank you all for your positive energy and prayers for Barnaby. It seems to be working. He's improving daily. So we're very happy about that. Enough that we can come here to the cottage and do the live and not feel like
both of us.
Yeah, both of us here and not feel like we have to be split or there. He loves to eat and right now, and he goes down in the basement to relax. So
the kittens are bothering him.
Yeah, the kittens are making him crazy.
Play.
And normally we don't allow any of the cats down in the basement, but we put a little litter box down there for him. And he goes down there and he takes a few hours nap almost every day now down in the basement by himself so that he can get some peace and quiet.
I don't think he actually uses the litter.
I don't think he's ever used it, but it's down there in case he needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Give him a break.
Yeah, he finds a little. Sometimes he sleeps in the laundry basket. Sometimes he sleeps on top of some of the laundry down there. Sometimes he sleeps in Andrew's paper making vat.
It's dry.
Cheryl says Barnaby's man cave. It is. So he gets it all to himself. He's there right now. because we figured when we're gone, it's probably best that he gets some alone time.
Gilbert is kind of a little bit salty about that.
Yes, he is. Gilbert
He's like,
loves to go downstairs soon. He loves to go downstairs also, but he's not getting to go down as much as Barnaby. Of course, because Barnaby's getting all the treats right now because he's not feeling well. So Gilbert has been a little bit upset lately.
Well, his feelings are hurt, but he's also been really loving too.
Yeah, it seems like he's very loving in the daytime, and then as night comes in, he starts growling at everyone. He's like, I've had enough. I'm fed up. This is enough for today.
Well, Tallulah has been bothering him nonstop.
Yeah.
And
of course, when one of the kittens start bothering him, all of the kittens like to start
he
bothering
gets surrounded.
him. He does.
And he's like, he looks at me in my eyes, making perfect eye contact, communicating to me that he's not happy with.
He's like, help me. Help me.
He's like, what did you do?
What have you done to
Plug up whatever this is.
So, Amanda says Gilbert sounds like me. I don't know, but Gilbert's having a semi-difficult time, but and also Barnaby's getting extra attention, so I don't think he understands why, and that he's not getting that extra attention. But yeah, so that's what's going on here. If you have any questions about anything, our kits, the design competition, any of that good stuff, feel free to ask here while we're live or send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com and we will get back to you ASAP. Sometimes that's in a day, sometimes it takes me a little bit more time, but as soon as possible, we will get back to you. All right, so I think
Did you ever think about how sometimes people confuse ASAP with immediately?
Yes.
Did you notice that? Because I saw somebody, they're like, I need this response ASAP.
And they really mean
now.
But ASAP stands for as soon as possible. So
which is not now.
Which may not be now. It might be now, but it may not be now.
Sometimes you have to like look around.
Right? So ASAP. I use that a lot in my emails. And sometimes I think about that. I'm like, wonder if they think I'm going to do it like right now. But really it means as soon as I possibly can get to it, I will do that.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny how things have, like language.
How language, changes and morphs and all that good stuff. Barbara says, did I miss the craft books? No, not yet. You know, we always chat first. Usually we don't do a ton of chatting in the end.
This? Barbara?
Barbara.
Why are you acting new?
She says, chatting is good, though. Yes, chatting is good.
We did start later, so maybe that's why.
We started later. No, we've not gone to the craft books, but we're going to do that, like right now, because I'm pretty much out of things to say, and I'm tired.
You haven't eaten dinner yet.
I have not eaten yet today. And so, although Barb did stop and get me a bagel today. She picked up a bagel for me. That was nice, yes.
That's nice.
Andrew's like, I didn't get one. Andrew did get cookies, though.
Yeah. Annie baked us some cookies. Yeah. And I feasted upon those.
They were delicious.
My one source of sustenance today.
Although you were home all day.
I was not feeling very good.
Yeah. The weather's been throwing him for a loop.
Yeah. It's so weird because I was like, maybe I have COVID.
Yeah, we actually tested him for COVID.
The one night. Because it's so weird. I mean, it's not that weird because it's been going on for years. So it's not like a new thing. It's just like, I guess, a form of denial that my face does that.
Does that.
But whenever the weather changes, I don't know what it is. I was like, maybe I'm allergic to snow.
He did look that up too.
And
there are people who are allergic to the cold.
Usually that's something else. Like I don't get hives from having a cold drink.
And if anyone who's new to us is wondering, Andrew is often off camera doing things. So that's why you're not seeing Andrew and I'm just listening too. So for all you new people out there, that's what's going on. We often do that.
Not a ventriloquist.
No, I'm not speaking through someone else.
Channeling.
channeling. Andrew is off to the side. Andrew Thornton Artist. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook. That's my husband, and we run Allegory Gallery, and we have Star Cottage Studio, which is where we are. And he's going to be handing me books to make sure they stay in order and get put back in the right order and in the right way, so they don't go falling off the desk.
And they don't get all dinged up.
Yeah, he often is off camera handing me things.
Also, I didn't shave, so oh well.
I didn't either.
Yeah, but you don't. I do. So oh well.
He's not going through the mustache phase again.
Nah, skip that.
Mustachio.
That's horrible. Burn all those pictures. At one point,
like the one you're laying in Chili's with your mustache, I think. Weren't you laying on chilies or laying on? You didn't.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Okay, yeah.
We had so many tomatoes one year, and I was doing this thing called Self-Portrait Friday.
You did a photo shoot.
Nina Bagley, she started this thing where she would take this is blogging time, so this is a long time ago, y'all. This is not like yesterday. And so I used to try to do those self-portraits every Friday. And I was painting some and photographing some.
I still have a number of those in my office.
Yeah, they're all right, some of them. But anyways, so that's why I was laying in a bed of tomatoes to show that I had a lot of tomatoes. And we were busy.
We had a good harvest that year.
We had like 26 plants, and I think in our minds we had one tomato each plant, but we got more like 30 on each plant.
Yeah, that was a lot of tomatoes. Suzanne says, I'm reading a book on language in the year 1000. That would be interesting. I would like that. What book is that? Barbara says, I just relented to taking a Zyrtec a day. I'm a cat lady who's probably semi-allergic to cats, and I have seasonal allergies, and we heat our home with wood, which is bad for allergies, so whatever.
Mm-hmm. I take drugs every day too.
Yeah, I take usually at least a Zyrtec every day, and usually a Zyrtec plus a fexofenadine, which is Allegra, or a Claritin, which is Loratadine.
I take that one every day.
Usually we each take one or two different allergy pills a day. And maybe we're semi-allergic to cats too. Who knows? But
I think though it's not that. The one with the weather. Because when the weather changes, you can see it. Like it's not
in your face.
We thought that it was like, maybe it's like psychosomatic or something. Like I see a weather report. But at one point we were driving through the hills and it was raining. And I said, 3, 2, 1, it stopped raining. And then 3, 2, 1, it started raining again. And I mean, that was an extreme case.
His face can tell the weather.
That's a barometer. And that sounds fancy and like a super mutant power. But the pain that comes with it is like not.
He's like, it's one you would never want.
I was like, this is kind of like the busted. Like, how come I can't do like the flying or something?
Right. Danette says, oh no, I'm late. You're not that late. You're just late for the talk. We haven't shown the books yet. We're getting there because I got to eat soon. I'm getting a headache. Barbara says Nina's work is amazing. Love her. Nina's work is amazing. Love her.
She doesn't post anymore.
Suzanne says the book is The Year 1000. We have to look that up. DominionMovement.com is here with us. Donna says, I have to use Flonase every day because anything else will run up my blood pressure. Yeah. Some of them have steroids or some kind of thing. Yep. Andrew definitely uses that. Yeah. So let's look at some books.
But anyways, so I was having problems with my sinuses the other night. And I get where I just start sneezing nonstop.
And just running.
So it's congested, but also running and also sneezing. And the cats were horrified. They're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even come near me.
Yeah, he's like, I can't breathe.
And then by the time I wake up the next day, it's gone completely.
Yeah, because the weather changed.
Isn't that so weird?
Because it was snowing that night, and then by morning the snow was gone.
And then it stopped.
It was sunny.
I was like, why do we live in a place where this happens to me?
Donna says, "You going to get hangry, William?" Maybe.
You better not.
Maybe. We'll see.
Because like attracts like.
He's like, and I'm in a good mood. All right. Let's move this camera over here. And I'm going to change this to remove myself. And can you still hear me, everybody? Let me know if you can still hear me. You should be able to still hear me.
Keep talking.
I think they can still hear me because this should be the microphone that it's actually using anyway. It works. Good. Dominion Movement says you need dehumidifiers in Ligonier now. Never used to be that damp there. I don't know. We use a humidifier in the winter and dehumidifiers in the summer.
In the basement.
In the basement. Because the basement is...
Who said it's not?
DominionMovement.com. Sorry, I keep forgetting your name. It's going to take me like 18,000 times before I remember because it's not in the... Because you're DominionMovement.com.
That's your name now.
That's your name now. Catherine is with us. Hello, Catherine. Says, yes, volume is great. Good. We have the overhead camera these days. I know. Look at this. Isn't this different?
Do y'all have this book? I love this book.
So, Semi-Precious Salvage by Stephanie Lee. Let me put up the banner.
I met Stephanie when we used to do Art Fest, which was an art retreat out in Port Townsend. And a lot of those people who were teachers there got book deals, especially a lot of mixed media. And this is a really wonderful book because it's not just like, oh, stick this on a string. There's things on plaster, there's things on soldering, soft soldering. There's a lot of really cool mixed media techniques. And one of the things I really love, and because I went through this phase, which I still kind of am in this phase, because I never really leave phases behind, I guess.
Barbara says, one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite books.
It's a wonderful book. It's a really great resource. But it also, when I first started out making jewelry, I did not have a lot of money. I had like $2 negative in my account at all times. So I would go to thrift stores and I would go to places like flea markets and yard sales, and I would get kind of odds and end things and broken jewelry and whatever I could get. And that's kind of one of the ways I started making jewelry in New York. So this is a new copy.
Yeah, I'm trying not to break the spine. A lot of these books are very new copies. This is BL1 for book lot 1. And so you take that, and as it's saying down here, to purchase from this video, take down the lot number, send it to us in an email at info@allegorygallery.com. So this book is $11.50.
I also think that this is one of those books that kind of launched an era in the publishing industry. Like, there were so many knockoff books of this, and I have to say this is one of the kind of OG books.
Barbara says it's very raw and accessible.
Yeah, I like it. And also, it's something that you can make your own. With some of the books out there, if you do their projects, everybody knows that you did XYZ person's project. They're like, oh, is that blah, blah, blahs? With this, you can really make it your own. And depending on what you find or what you use, it'll change up your look. I mean, it kind of has that kind of, boho, rustic, mixed media, found art kind of vibe. But at the same time, Oh, and the other thing that I like about this book is that there's a lot of pictures. So not only do you get descriptions, but you get pictures as well.
All right, so that's BL1, $11.50. The first person to send us an email with BL1 in the subject line gets it. All right, first come, first serve. And we will also, depending on how many books you purchase, we will send you an invoice with shipping calculated out. So we can't cover shipping. We can't do that. But depending on how many books you get will depend on shipping. We will always ship the best way, whether that's priority or whatever we have to do, or yeah. So
because they are books. Oh, and before we move on, if you are looking for some of these books, especially the found art jewelry books, a lot of them use frozen charlottes, which are these little tiny ceramic figurine dolls from Germany. Our friend Harry has those listed in his Etsy store, and he's got a sale going on right now. I think it's 30% off, something like that.
I don't know if Harry's tuning in, but Oscar Crow is the name of his store on Etsy, and he is running a sale. So,
and he's closing his Etsy store, so get them while you can, because otherwise, then you don't have it.
Danette's asking, can you ship media mail? We will ship the best way.
Danette, just pick it up in the store.
I know, right?
I mean, maybe that's more expensive.
And some of these books, Andrew, may have more than one copy.
Some, but not all.
But mostly no. So it's one copy each. And that first book did sell. We have some emails for that. So thank you so much. We'll see who got it in the end.
Oh, good. Now this book is also from one of our Art Fest friends, Susan. Her name is, what's her name now? It's just Leonard now, right?
I think just Susan. Is it Susan Leonard? Yeah, I think she goes.
Her husband died, and then anyway. So, if you don't know her, she was really she has pieces in the Smithsonian and is a super talented artist, and who can make jewelry out of anything. Like nowadays, her stuff kind of has a nomadic kind of vibe because she's been going to Morocco and has a lot of jewels and stuff. But this is her early days when she's more into found object art. This book was originally self-published. So if you look online, this book is not how you call cheap.
No, I mean it started out at $48, but there are some some people are charging much more,
hundreds of dollars, and I was like, because I don't think it's not in print anymore. So, because that publisher closed. Well, she self-published, so they have a version that Interweave does, but it's not the hardback, I don't think. So this one is BL2, $30. She's really, this book is really good about cold connections. So if you've been curious about doing eyelets or riveting, it's a really wonderful way to incorporate mixed media. But also, if you have things like seed bead things, sometimes you don't want to stitch those components on. So this is a way of thinking about things in a slightly different way. It's a wonderful book. It's beautifully illustrated. She does a really good job. And I think it's a really nice book.
Yeah.
Some of it is really inspirational too. Or how they say aspirational, that is. Now, this is another Art Fest friend. And Mary, she is, I believe, originally a weaver. So, yeah, where did I put that other book? I just had it. I didn't get it up.
What are you doing over there? Oh, it's on the top of that thing.
Oh, I will not put that there.
No, you're not gonna have enough room there anyway.
All right. So originally she's a weaver. So a lot of her kind of techniques are a little bit different. So there's metal smithing in here, but again, one of the most interesting things about this book is how to incorporate the different materials. Now,
Hold on one second. Barbara is asking, is Susan's book hardback? Yes. So is this one.
Yeah, this is a Lark book, which was one of my favorite publishers. They used to be in Asheville, and I would go up and visit Ray, who was there, and I would see all the behind the scenes about books that they were working on. And they were such a gold standard for publishing. They got bought up by Barnes & Noble through Sterling and then went out of business. So no more. But this is a really cool book because there's a lot of metalsmithing techniques. There's weaving, there's wire crochet. There's a lot of interesting ways of putting things together. There's even a little bit of enameling. So it's a really good kind of, I don't want to say a catch-all, but there's a lot of techniques in this book. And her style is very distinctive. So, but I think it's one of those things where if you take these things, you can definitely use those in your own way so it doesn't necessarily look like her work. I don't think she makes a lot of work anymore. So BL3, how much is it?
$14 only.
And that's, you can tell that it's nice and shiny and new.
Yeah, it is.
No dings or dents. This is Sherry Habb's book, or Hobb. I met her in Tucson many years ago. She came to our house party. And she's pretty famous. She's an inventor. I don't know if y'all knew that, but she invents stuff. I don't know if it's her or her husband or who, but they invented this electroforming set and this ITS, which is like a paper that transfers onto stuff. So she does a lot of different kind of mixed media stuff. This book is another techniques-based book. And there's a lot of different things. There's, I think there's kind of like Viking knit. Is that Viking knit?
Spool knit.
Anyways, we also have that for sale if you need that. But a lot of mixed media things. She's really good. She does metal clay and resin and all kinds of stuff. So this is BL4 and is only $8. This is another one which is a good, I think like Susan, sometimes her stuff is maybe a little bit intimidating because it's like a lot of times it's very like dramatic and over the top, which I think is amazing. But sometimes people are like, I don't know if I'm gonna wear a whole collar of 1,000 pen quill nibs on my throat. Sherry, her kind of her style is a little bit more, I would say, accessible in the sense that you could wear this stuff to the grocery store and it's not going to stop traffic. Well, maybe, I don't know. Does that make sense? I hope they're not like, oh, that Andrew talking smack.
Robin LaBelle says, that's a great price for Susan's book. People have been paying a lot more. Yes.
Oh, hi, have. Robin.
Yes, they have. We saw the prices on those.
Yeah, I don't think it's in print anymore.
But it is still available. No one has grabbed it yet, so
That was it.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're looking.
Wait until the end.
Yeah, because we have 40 books tonight.
So we got to pick up the pace a little.
No.
He's like, then I'm gonna go home and you're gonna finish.
All right. So this is Moving On. Is Torchfired Enamel Jewelry by Barbara Lewis. If you don't know, this came out maybe 15 years ago. 2009. Was it 2009? Anyways, it was a while ago. I was lucky enough. Is that signed to me?
Not to you.
Oh, well, there you go. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
It's signed.
Signed to somebody. I'm trying to look at the date. 2011.
Anyway, so I took her workshop in Tucson. It's so weird. It was in this like hotel room, and like the beds were like pushed up against the wall. And your copy. Oh, also some of the copies we're going to show you are not the copies you're going to get. You're going to get, if we have it new, you'll get the new copy that's in the plastic wrap. I just didn't want to take the plastic wrap off of, you know. Anyway, so this is the immersion technique with Torchfire enameling. It's a very minimal cost. You could probably get started with like $100 or less kind of business. I mean, you know, the more techniques you do, the more you'll want to get. But this shows a technique of how to enamel, which is relatively accessible. Sometimes with enameling, it's a little bit trickier because you need a kiln and it gets kind of pricey to do all that. But with this, it shows you some techniques of how to add color and work with metal. So it's not just, there's some on etching, there's some on riveting and wire wrapping. So there's a lot of different techniques also in this book. So that's a good one.
Barbara says, Barbara's Torchfire book is also in my library. It's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
And Anne says, that makes sense. There are statement pieces and very wearable pieces. Both are good.
Yeah. So this is not a how-to book. This is a, it's like a coffee table book. It's a really wonderful kind of inspirational kind of thing. It's a collection of different works in silver. So there's vessels and cutlery and all kinds of stuff. It's a really lovely reference book. There's a lot of talk in it about how silver is done and some of the processes and the different collections. It's a nice little book. And it's a very visual book too.
And that's BL6, $8.
That's Silver by
Philippa Merriman. Cheryl says, I'm enjoying learning about these artists. Most are new to me.
Well, I talk all day. Now, I love this book. I have 4 copies of it. And
just in case.
Just in case. This is a soft cover book, so this is not the hardcover. And the Penland Book of Jewelry is such a treasure trove of inspiration. So if you don't know what Penland is, it's an art school that's in Western North Carolina. And it's kind of like Touchstone. If you've heard me talk about it, about Touchstone, it's a craft school that I'm on the board of. My goal is one day to go to Penland as a student. I dream of it. I have lustful dreams of this. My friend Elizabeth Brim used to be the iron coordinator for them for years and years, and she lives down the street, and she hangs out there all the time. And I have dreams of just hanging out with her at Penland.
Our friend Warrior Metalsmith has joined us on Instagram.
Oh, nice. That's Andrea from NC Black. So she's taught at Penland. So Penland is really, they do a great job of attracting different artists from all over the world. It's a really big deal, not only to go there, but to teach there. And so this book has a lot, not only inspiration, but there's a lot of techniques. So there's a lot of really interesting ways of how things are put together. But you also get to know the different artists. I think it's a really good book.
There's a lot of info in here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
So
only
if you're-
$13.
Which is basically nothing. I remember when I saved up. I got my copy at Malaprops, which is a bookstore in Asheville. And I saved up and got it. But this is a really beautiful book. There's been a couple different versions of this book. This is BL7, $13 only, and I love it. There are some weird things in there, like the one on the cover is like looks like somebody's belly button. I think it is a cast of somebody's belly button. So if you get horrified by that, then wait, what was that? Okay. Now, if you've been a bead collector for a while, this book may look familiar. This is called Beads of the World. This is one of those books that is, it's if you collect ethnographic beads, this is a really great guide to help identify things and learn more about the beads that are from.
I like the old price guide in here.
Oh boy.
I can't even imagine.
So it's a little dated, but it's still got a lot of really wonderful, like those are milagros from Mexico. You basically, anything that I've learned about beads, you can probably read in this book.
I need to read this book.
Yeah, it's a good one.
There's some Native American, the fetishes. We just had a show on those.
Does that look familiar?
I know, all these familiar things in here.
This is really good. It's very comprehensive for not being a massive book. And so there's stuff on trade beads, there's stuff on African beads, there's stuff.
Those look familiar, everybody?
Is that the porcelain?
Or vintage Chinese ceramic, yeah.
So if you want to become to know a lot about beads.
Encyclopedic about beads.
This is a good one. If you're looking for something that's like a stringing book, this is not it. No. So this is not a techniques book. But it is something that if you have questions about certain beads in your collection, this is a really good reference guide for that.
That's BL8, $14.
I think the publisher's out of here in Pennsylvania.
And that one just sold.
Yeah, that's a good book. This is another one from that publisher. And for those of you who are interested in metalsmithing, this is another good book. It's a newer book, so, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's a book that's been revised recently. So there's a lot of information about like soldering and cold connections and stone setting and enameling. I think there's enameling in there. I don't know. There's a lot of different contemporary jewelry techniques. If you want to get the tagua nut out, this shows you how to do the tagua nuts. Hey, I should look at this again.
There's some image transfer stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good things.
Bezel setting.
So that brown mud that looks like poop, that's pitch.
There's some of it right there.
and that is a resin mixed with brick dust, and that's what holds the stuff, and that's for chasing and repoussé, but also to hold stuff still. Nowadays, they have something called jet ballistics, and you don't have to have that residue as much, but it's still interesting.
Yeah.
There's a primer on enameling.
Good stuff. BL9, $20, hardback.
Mm-hmm. And I think you can only get this from the publisher right now. So, this is more kind of like, I would say, a more style guide. There are techniques on how to do stuff, but a lot of it is to show kind of her way of working. Susan Ray, I met her originally at Bead and Button many years ago. She's written a ton of books and had worked for this company called Horizon and sourcing charms for big box stores. But that's a different story. So there are some technique things, but if you are getting started with wire, this is a good kind of option, especially with like twisting wire and making those little fun curlicues. So there's a lot of kind of, I don't know, kind of basic wire stuff. It's a good reference if you're starting out.
BL10, $6 only.
Mm-hmm.
$6.
I mean, I can't. That doesn't even pay for the paper. This is another. This is from our friend Margot Potter.
Love Margot.
She's wonderful. She's one of our Bead World besties.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she's not really doing Bead World stuff anymore, she's an omni crafter. She wrote a whole series of books called The Impatient Crafter or Impatient Beater, maybe both. So these are, her style is more kind of like wild. I don't know. There's like, she likes kind of kitschy things and bright things and kind of.
She's
like,
very colorful.
And like wire that's like, you know, it's kind of like messy and fun and like big and kind of over the top, and kind of like kind of retro a little bit, and sometimes a little bit blingy. She did a whole thing with S-Word back in the day, and so she's really fun. If you don't know, she does this thing called Mornings with Madge. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, check her out, Margot Potter. Find her, follow her. She's fun. She wrote a book.
She's written a couple books.
Yeah, what's her? 50 and Other F Words or something, I think was her one book.
And that's not a craft book.
That's not a craft book. But this is BL11, $10.
And she used to do stuff with Beadalon back in the day. So, and her husband used to be a Beadalon rep. Drew. So this is the throwback. Back in the day when I used to blog, we were friends with Jean Yates. And so this is kind of, she has projects that she's made specifically. So there's project driven, but there's stuff about like kind of chainmail and some basic wire working. But she was really popular in the blogging world and did stuff with Blythe dolls and
well, Barbara says Margot is super cool. Omnicrafter is a great way to describe her.
I like her a lot.
She's a good egg.
Plus, she is how you call rock solid. You know, there are people who have talked smack about us, And she is not afraid to get up in their face and tell them to shut their mouth and mind their business.
Yeah.
And she don't care who she offends, because if somebody attacks her friend, she's gonna be there.
Yep.
Every time, all day long. She is called a loyal, good, true friend.
Yep.
So, and she used to do all kinds of stuff, QVC, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, she did.
So she's been on TV, used to have a rockabilly band, all kinds of stuff.
She's done a lot.
Uh-huh.
This one has a lot of the chainmail and stuff in it, which is really cool.
So if you're interested in kind of that, working with it
to incorporate it in your other jewelry, this is probably a good book.
It's Teresa Dark on the cover.
BL12, $7.
I don't think that's available anymore. Now this one's a little bit more geometric, I would say. Fernando de Silva, his husband is Wyatt White from Beadalon. So there's a lot of like Beadalon adjacent things. I don't know if that's the right word. So there's a lot of the stuff you can buy from Beadalon. He's really cool. There's a lot of like crystal and geometric shapes and kind of how would you describe
almost
that?
Retro in some of it.
Yeah, retro modern.
Yeah,
I would say. You know how there's like that modernist vibe with like almost like with shapes and like squares and circles and things like that. So he was another blogger back in the day and did a lot with S-Word and Beadalon. Another Pennsylvania person. Pennsylvania represent, you know?
Right. BL13, $7.
We go. It's like memory lane here. This is Tammy Powley. She was another one of the big bloggers back in the day. She's teaches. She's from Florida. She's an author of many, many books and teaches writing at a college down there. She's also really into Blythe dolls. And if you don't know what those are, they're like these big-eyed, big-headed dolls from the 70s, I want to say. I don't know. And they like blink and stuff. So this is more kind of like a style guide. There is some technique, but a lot of it is showing like some projects that are pretty fast and easy. They're relatively accessible. I knew her because we used to be in a blogging group together. And she's really cool. I've been in some of her books. She asked me to submit projects. I'm not in this book. I don't think any of the books that we have tonight I'm in. Well, maybe one. But anyway, so if you want to mix some gemstones and pearls, then here you go. BL14, only $7.
Getting out the next stack. And just so y'all know, these are not like castaways from Andrew's collection. These are just like duplicates. So he still has each one of these. He's not,
I'm not giving them
if you think these are just the ones he's decided, oh, these are no good, I'm just getting rid of them.
No, there are some books that are amazing.
Yeah.
And I would actually fight somebody in the street for some. This is a book called Plexiglass, and it's a really it's a cool way of incorporating a material that people don't necessarily think of. So like acrylic and plastic and how you can embellish it So there's ways of adding ink resist to it, about how to safely drill it, how to work with it. You can manipulate it and bend it. I think the cover is really cool. They have like this plastic, you know, those folders from like the 90s. Did you remember those? Did you have that? Those plastic folders like that?
I had a set of plastic folders that were from Levenger, if anyone knows where that is.
That is not from the 90s middle school.
No, that is not. That's where I had them. I had Trapper Keepers in 90s.
The ones fit in the Trapper Keepers. But anyway, so there's a lot of cool stuff. This is a very technique-driven book. So again, it's one of those ones where you can get a lot of information on working with plastic. I know some people are like horrified when I say plastic, but if you look at contemporary jewelry, throughout the invention of plastic, René Lalique, who is probably one of the most world-renowned makers of jewelry, has a whole line of plastic stuff and was an early pioneer of using that material. And it just has different qualities like translucency and lightness and sturdiness. So I know some people are like, ugh, plastic. I used to be one of those people. And then I learned the ways of plastic and I was like, it's cool.
I'm sure this book helped.
Yeah, I like it. I have like 6 copies of it. So.
BL15, $9.
Northlight was another wonderful publisher of books back in the day. I think they did the Semi-Precious Salvage book. This is it's metal jewelry made easy. So there is stuff like slime and wire work and some
casting, cuttlefish bone casting.
So this is a book that has a lot of things. The projects are really accessible, I would say. They're not, it's like the title, made easy. It's not, like the things do take some attention to detail, especially as you're like developing. But it's one of those ones that's a good primer for a lot of different techniques. So there's a lot of wire stuff. So if you want to get more into metal, this might be a good one. It's
mostly the first half looks like techniques and then they go into projects.
Yeah.
So lots of techniques.
It's got a lot of information and it's a good quality book too. Like nowadays you can get almost anything online, like download, and I'm not talking smack about it because we do that as well. But sometimes it's nice to have a book and be able to hold it. And
this is nice. It has a sewn-in binding and lay flat binding, which I like.
Especially if you're gonna
really reference it. Have it at your workstation.
Yeah.
No one wants their $600 or $700 tablet by their metal workstation.
No, that's how it gets destroyed.
BL16, $9. That can be by your workstation.
So this is a Lark book from back in the day. Martha is one of the people who is really a proponent of contemporary jewelry. She owns a gallery in Asheville called Mora Gallery. It is an amazing treasure trove of contemporary jewelry. So this book kind of is a survey of different artists who work in found object art jewelry. I think I just saw a piece by Susan Leonard in there. And it kind of is a primer also on how to incorporate some of these techniques. So like that, for example, is how to use sea glass and create your own ear wires, and it's a pretty good book. I like it. Also, she, if you recognize her name, it's because she's the editor of so many different books and was super instrumental working at Lark and really pushing and promoting the DIY sector of jewelry, but also merging it with contemporary jewelry, which is not always. That's one of Susan's pieces, I think. Is it? Does it say?
Yep.
That's one of her famous pieces. I think that's one in the Smithsonian. But anyway, so she's somebody who really is a proponent of mixing the contemporary jewelry world with the DIY sector, which usually that doesn't usually happen. So this is BL17, only $7. Now this is a ex-library book, and we've priced it accordingly. This is another metals teacher who did the circuit. She teaches a lot at William Holland. This is Kim St. Jean, and she does a lot of cool metal techniques. There's riveting, there's enameling, again, that kind of found art, but metal manipulation. So there's a little bit of metal forming, hammer work, soldering, wire work. And she has a very fun kind of eclectic style that incorporates a lot of different things. So there's some interesting ideas about different bezeling ideas and ways of showcasing the metal and doing some fun things with it, which I think is nice. So even though this is an old library book, I put it in here because my copy is kind of tore up. So I did not want to offer that. All right. So when we say you may not get the book that we show, this is what we're talking about. A lot of the books, we used to sell books at the store, so we bought a bunch of books. We kind of pulled them because people would, and I hate to say this, but they would like take pictures on their phone and not buy the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so the books would get kind of chewed up and then kind of in a state where they're not sellable. And so this is a relatively new book. This is from Interweave. There's a lot of metalsmithing techniques, but also a lot of mixed media techniques. So there's some resin inlay, there's some settings, there's all kinds of stuff. I think
paper and pulp, paper casting, different kinds of casting.
So a lot of mixed media techniques that you don't necessarily think of.
Fabric, fibers, and leather is a chapter. Weaving leather, gluing leather. Tassels.
So if you order this book, you'll get the unopened.
Yeah, we lost you, everyone. My phone died. Don't know why. It's plugged in. Everything's working. So just give us a moment here. We're getting the camera rebooted up.
Of course. Retro.
I know. Yeah, it says it's at 1%. I don't know why. It's plugged in and everything. One moment, please.
So that book that was just up was BL19 and it's $6. It's the Encyclopedia of Contemporary Jewelry Making Techniques. So that's another kind of cool book.
Okay, there, that's going again. Let me get this plugged in.
I wonder why it did that.
I don't know. Okay, now hold on.
Flip that.
I gotta get this. Yeah, I gotta flip the camera here. Let me do that. And which one did I end up choosing? I think was this one. There we go. And there we go. And that one has the sound. I can take myself out of here now. All right, we're back.
Can you hear us okay?
Hopefully everyone can hear us okay. Let us know. Sorry about that. I don't know why my phone died, even though it was plugged in.
Because Mercury.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So let us know if you can hear us. So you would get, Suzanne says yes, Teresa says yes, thank you. You will get this copy if you order this book, BL19, $6.
From Italy. That, they were started off in the fibers industry and then branched into the jewelry.
This is another one. You get the covered book, plastic coated.
Now, I'm gonna preface this. All right, I'm gonna tell some truth right now. So this book has a product that is not easy to get in the United States. I'm gonna just say that now. Maybe it's easier now, but at the time of publishing, it was not necessarily easy to get this material. Now, with that being said, you can use other stuff. It is a wonderful, wonderful sculpting book on working with botanicals. So you can adapt these things to using, it looks like real flowers.
Yeah, it's hard to tell that these are not real flowers.
So you may be thinking this is a floral book. It is not a floral book. And so it does go step by step on how to sculpt all these different flowers and then to augment it with pigments and paint and different stuff so that it looks like a real flower. I don't know about y'all, but I used to sculpt. There was like a phase where people would sculpt flowers. Y'all remember that? Especially out of like porcelain clay or like air dried porcelain clay. But anyways, this book is no longer available and it's actually pretty hard to get. So this is not an easy to find book also. I think when we looked at it, what was it, like $40?
Yeah, it was more expensive. We definitely priced it really well for y'all. From what we could see, we always do that, you know.
Mm-hmm. But it's a really wonderful sculpting book. So there's a lot of techniques in here about how to sculpt.
Yeah, I think it's worth it just for the learning the techniques.
Yeah.
And just for reference.
The clay is not easy to get, but maybe it is now. I don't know. I haven't checked recently. But there you go. It's a beautiful book.
And you get the one all sealed up in plastic. BL20, $20. And we're halfway through, y'all.
BL28. This is another book. I think that this person, she was one of the art fest people back in the day. She did a lot of licensing, so some of her artwork may look familiar. And so there you go. So it's kind of it's like a creative, keeping you creative, and there's prompts on how like harness your creativity. So it's kind of more for like a general living an artist's life kind of stuff. There is some stuff that's more specific, but
Soul Space, where you receive permission to play. I like that chapter title.
that artwork is Tisha Moore. So there's a lot of journaling and stuff like that. So a lot of art fests kind of like the ideas of that, and also showing the different places where people's actual studios, which is one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm nosy like that.
What's your studio look like?
Mm-hmm.
So that's BL21, $8.
I used to never let anybody inside my studio, and now I'm like, here, let's turn the camera on.
I know, I was surprised.
All right, so this is so there was a private school that tried to get metalsmithing off the ground, right? And then you can see what the private school is, or the school is. And they launched the program, but then it ended like the next year. So they had all of these textbooks, and I bought them. So this is arguably, so there's every once in a while, there's a stamp that says this, whatever school that it was from.
Fairfield City School.
In Ohio. Anyways, it was in like Cincinnati, Ohio, I want to say. But anyways, so this book is probably one of the Bibles of the metalsmithing world. So it's a comprehensive overview of all these different techniques and the tools you need to start metalsmithing. It also includes a lot of the kind of textbook. It's a textbook basically, and it talks a lot about the ratios of things, the formulas. It has how, like, what temperatures metals melt at what temperatures they reticulate. It has a lot of really casting information. There's stuff on.
Yeah, you want to know what pickle is, or flux is, or kind of torch is, reticulation, mokume, chasing, stamping. When Andrew talks about all this stuff, there's electroforming.
Like, this is a very useful book.
Yeah, this is like the reference book.
Mm-hmm. If you take a college class, I would be on metalsmithing. I would be surprised if this is not the textbook.
There's even like melting points of various materials and different kinds of chemicals, temperature conversions, how to have safe ventilation, health and safety.
So if you're interested in getting started with metalsmithing, then this is it.
There's the word fibula. Remember when we did fibulas?
So I have a copy, and then I use it frequently. This also comes with the DVD. I have never put the DVD in, so I can't tell you what's on the DVD. It could be, I'm not going to say it could be porn, but metalsmithing porn.
Right. We even looked at the studio layout template when we were laying out Andrew's studio before.
I have almost everything. That makes my heart happy. Even
tips to photograph jewelry. So
it's a really good comprehensive. Now, if you want to get the in-depth, like the deep knowledge, he has other books that are more specific.
Yeah, but if you're just like, what is this? I don't know what this is.
Or if you want a reference.
What is fold forming all about? Well, here it's going to tell you.
This is a nice sampler.
So all those people who sometimes email us and say, what does this mean? Or what is this? This is a perfect book.
Correct.
For you.
And it's in good quality too. Even though it's a old school book, it was never really used. So
no, these are not. They're not written in by students. They're not. Like, this is a clean. You can see every page we flip through is clean.
They basically bought them and then didn't have the class.
Yeah.
Maybe one time, and then
So that's BL 22, $20 with the DVD or CD.
Is it CD?
It says CD.
So I don't know what's on. That's one before YouTube.
Right.
We got one of our computers. We had to buy a CD-ROM reader because it didn't have that included.
No.
So this one's a little bit different. This is one of the artists that we used to show I met her years and years ago at this show called FairyCon, and I think she was just debuted her her tarot, or I think it was tarot, Dreamscape tarot deck. So this is an artist monograph and it has a collection of her works. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful book. She's mostly known for her watercolors. So,
Great inspiration book.
Mm-hmm.
June is tuned in. Hello, June.
If you like fantasy, this is where it's at. I also think that a lot of her drawings are very heavily inspired by kind of Art Nouveau, but also there's a little bit of an Asian vibe to them. So there's like techniques and kind of formats that kind of look. And nowadays, there are people who work in her style that look a lot. They use this to form their own way. Does that make sense? Like they're really inspired by her. And so it's a good book.
Yeah, you can't find it everywhere.
No. You can buy it basically through her or us.
Yeah, we looked. We didn't see many copies around anywhere. BL23, $20.
So great price. All right. Now, if y'all don't have this book, it is amazing. And this is one of those books that when you do these things, you feel like you're a mad scientist. And you probably should have a window that opens because some of the things smell to all get out. That you'd be mixing ammonia with all kinds of stuff. But this is another reference book of how to get certain chemical reactions between surface. Between a chemical reaction between the whatever you're putting on it to oxidize it and the metal. They've got all kinds of stuff,
yeah, so like
heat patinas, and
it tells you how hand scour surface, phosphoric acid clean, cold foam brush wipe. Like it takes you through to get each one of these.
And this is, let me tell you, this is a repository of information that is wonderful, because a lot of this stuff takes years and years of trial to get. So when they're talking about different like ammonia techniques and stuff, there's one of getting a vibrant blue, and it's from ammonia and salt. Who would have thought? But that is probably this one. Which one is that?
This is on brass. So it takes you through the metals. So the copper, brass,
also how to preserve patinas.
Bronze.
Because patinas don't necessarily, the colors are not necessarily secure. And what I mean by that is that sometimes you can wipe it off, or it's only on the surface, and it's not like sturdy. So in some of the cases, it will tell you if you can put a preservative on top, how you can go about capturing that.
It's pretty much like a cookbook on how to get each of these.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, is this is wonderful.
Saved Andrew a lot of time.
Yeah, because otherwise, then you have to mess around. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. This is the cheat sheet of how to figure out how to do all of these different techniques and get those colors. And then you don't have to worry about it or wonder about it. You just say, oh, I'm going to do purple. And then you look up the purple section, and then...
Yeah, find the metal, find the color.
And then there you go.
And then even in the front, it tells you how to prepare the surface and what all that means.
So this is a wonderful book. This is basically like a semester of school in one book, in a reference book. So I highly recommend this book. If you don't buy it from us, there's only one of these because I'm going to keep my copy. I don't care. My copy, let's just say, is not pristine like this.
It is well used.
The spine done cracked, and it's not a cracked spine kind of book. So, yeah.
BL24, $28. A lot of these books are great just to have in your reference library.
Mm-hmm. Like, some people are like, how do you know all these things? Because sometimes I talk about different processes. Well, I have a lot of books. That's how I learned how to make jewelry. A lot of cases, when I first started out, I was self-taught. So, I mean, like, I had people in my life that showed me some things, but they also kept back a lot of things. So, if I wanted to know certain things, I had to learn from books and magazines. That's what the generation that I came from. And now, I never used to take classes. So now I do both. And it makes me happy in my heart to have these things. I also feel like a lot of this information is stuff that disappears. And if we don't preserve it, it's going to be completely gone.
Yeah, really, right now we are selling more craft books to you tonight than our Barnes & Noble has in their stock.
Correct. They have like 5 books, literally.
On jewelry making, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
This is a good book. Okay. So if you look at the cover, you may be like, it's neat, but it's kind of misleading in the way that you may be like, I don't want to make stuff that looks like that. But when you go into it, it has, I think there are different artists who show different things. So it breaks it down into kind of a different earth, air, fire, water. But it is really, actually really useful. It talks about different settings. It talks about different contemporary ways of kind of like, this is that Champlavet? This is called Champlavet, which is where they fill the cavities with, is this with the enamel or is that resin?
Enameling.
Okay, so it's got Champlavet, which is that enameling technique. I'm trying to work my magic so I can take a class on that this summer. But it also has cool stuff like this, which is kind of like fiber optics, and working in a really kind of cool way. So there's a lot of different...
It gives you the level, like this is an intermediate, 5 to 6 hours it should take to complete that.
This is a good book. So I know on the cover, if you are not into that image on the cover, it can be one of those things where like, I don't know about this.
Do not judge this book by its cover.
No, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of techniques. It's actually really useful. Like this is a casting, like sand casting. with Delft clay. There's a lot of techniques actually in this book. So it's a really useful book. And it comes from different artist perspectives. So if you don't like that one style, that's not the only thing. Like that's etching. And what's this?
Marrying brass and copper.
That's the marriage of metals technique.
Gilding metal.
This is it gilding or depletion gilding?
It said gilding metal. Let's see. Gilding metal and silver.
Okay, well there you go.
Making a nugget of silver. Fusion.
So this is
gold dusting.
There's a lot of technical things in here. I'm actually going to take that picture of that, or I have this copy, so I'm actually going to take a picture. But that gold dust, I'm going to use that on my own.
Curving concertina.
So that's another like a score and fold kind of business. So this is a pretty good book.
Yeah.
Especially for people who are interested in getting into more metalsmithing.
And especially for $8.
I know. My classes are not $8.
No, they are definitely not. BL26 coming up, $12.
This is another spiral bound book. It's got a little bit of everything in this. So there's a lot of different techniques. It's another kind of reference guide. And there are some examples of contemporary work. Anastasia Young is a really popular author. She wrote several books about jewelry making. This is a nice book because it's not huge. So you can take it places and kind of use it as a reference, but also it's kind of portable. So this is all different kinds of chainmail. This is how to make the jump rings to make the chain making. This is bowling headpins. Basically everything I show you, there's probably a chapter in a book and then have extra. So there you go. This also has some patinas, which is useful, but definitely not as in-depth as...
No. A whole book on it?
No. But there is information. So it's one of those things where there's a ton of stuff. Like,
yeah. Are you looking to just do patina? Get the one book. Are you looking for lots and lots of information on various things? Try this book.
One thing I will say is that this book is a little bit more visual than the Metalsmithing, Complete Metalsmith by Tim McCree, because those are like hand-drawn illustrations. These are actually photo illustrations. So right now this section is about gemstones. So it talks about like the color, the clarity, where they're from, the hardness, which is, you may not think about it, but it's like the hardness is super important when it comes to setting stones. For instance, if you're gonna set opals are extremely soft. And so you can't set them the same way that you would a diamond or a ruby or something with like a hammer setting. So there's a lot of interesting things in this book. And it talks about like the stones and the shapes of the stones and the pavilion and the girdle and the, what's the French word for the butt? Starts with a P.
I don't know. I don't know that terminology.
It's in there in that book.
It says it's in that book.
I done forgot.
So there you go. BL26, $12. Thank you all who are sending us emails for these books. If you like what you see, grab them quick. First come, first serve.
All right.
Last stack, y'all.
If you get all of these books, then you'll have a great library.
Yeah. More well equipped than your local Barnes and Noble. Probably
Correct.
more than a lot of studios.
So this is a good kind of copper book. So there's a lot of wire stuff, a lot of like spirals and stuff with wire, but there's also things like making your own head pins and jump rings and weaving. I think there is some in the later ones. There's a little bit of fold forming maybe. But she does like a lot of like wire work. So this is a very wire work book. Hey, I make stuff that looks like that. Oh, there you go. I mean, I'm not. This not.
That like Jen makes a lot of stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. This is a good book for that. BL 27, $8.
And it's sold. Thank you.
I might have 2 copies of this available.
Yeah, feel free to keep sending. Even if I say it's sold, you can keep sending emails because Andrew sometimes has a 3rd or 4th or a 5th copy.
Or 6 or 10.
Sometimes he has a lot. But yeah, if you want to learn some metal and wire working.
I noticed somebody was talking about in the group earlier about how they wish they could get better at wire wrapping and making better swirls. And this is probably it, if you're interested in that style. Plus, you can always look at these books when you buy them. And if you're local and there's something that you want help with, you can always ask like Jen. You'd be like, hey, I saw this. Can we make something similar?
Yep.
I mean, it's not good to teach other people's stuff unless you have permission.
Right.
But at the same time, a lot of this thing is like a spiral, as nobody owns a spiral.
BL 28, $5.
So if you don't know Jane, she's another Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania. So she was one of the editors for the magazines back in the day. So right now she does a lot of stuff with trauma and PTSD and stuff. But anyway, so a lot of these, if you miss the old magazines, here is kind of like that kind of style. A very project-based. They're basically recipes, and then you look at the picture, and then you assemble it. And, of course, it's all got chain in all of them. So this is a fun one, especially if you're kind of like, you're stuck. And these ones, you'll notice different people's names. So, Carrie Bogert, and that's Melanie Earthenwood back in the day. So it is basically, this is like a book format of a magazine from back in the day. So a lot of these people were like the it people of the blogging and magazine.
Yeah, I recognize a lot of these names.
So it's a good comprehensive.
BL 28, $5.
Yeah, for $5.
I know. It's great for inspiration.
Less than a magazine. All right. So she doesn't do polymer anymore. But she, Rana, she was really cool about making these really organic kind of modern pieces. I think the book is called Ancient Modern. So it kind of mixes that rusticness with like clean contemporary things, but also kind of like wild wire wrapping and how to incorporate polymer clay and how to add texture. I think this style is really nice because you can, it's very doable. So, there's some techniques which take pretty much your entire life to master. And if you kind of mess up, you can tell. With this, if you're a little bit rustic, like my stuff, I would say is kind of akin to some of this, where it's a little bit rustic. So if it's not exactly 100% like polished within a degree of its life, that's fine.
A lot of good polymer clay techniques in here.
But also metal too. So there's wire working, but also like cane work. This is cane work. This is layering, kind of the opalescence and kind of creating those striations. But again, with the wire and polymer clay. She also has a DVD that's on metal work that's separate. I don't know if I have extra of that, but that's a fun one. And it's a good kind of like introduction. So there's things on like making bead caps and texturing. So if you want to make your own beads, like polymer clay beads, this is a good kind of place to get information from. And for $8.
Yeah, good prices on these. And you know they're good copies.
Oh.
Like sometimes you can find books cheaper, but you don't know what you're getting. They're like, oh, this is a good condition. Or yeah, it's like good condition and you get it and it's like all torn up.
Yeah. So, and I buy lots of books. This one has a DVD. This is Sherry Hab. And so there's a lot of working with resin. So layering polymer clay and how you can use that for bezels and making your own fake amber and making resin, bangles, and using the other thing that she does a lot is she will use a lot of stuff that you can get, like you can have around the house. So like using old cottage cheese cups and stuff like that. So this is a good one if you're interested in resin. There's a lot of different kinds of resin. So there's UV resin, but there's also epoxy resin. And it talks about coloring resin and using it with, this is with metal leaf to make your stuff shine. This is about backing it with Japanese papers. So there's a lot of techniques in here, using molds, making molds, using ephemera, how to add pearlescent pigments to dye and change the color. So there's some kind of cloisonne and champlevé techniques in here, but using resin. So there's a lot of different techniques in this book. It also includes the DVD. I don't think it's ever been opened. Clearly, you see it's not been opened. So for $7, a resin tutorial is not a bad price. Here's another book by Mary. This is, again, she has a very specific kind of, look to her work. And she does, like I said, she's a weaver. So a lot of her pieces have that kind of woven kind of incorporation of wire and different kinds of metal. I think one of the projects she uses metal clay and like squeezes it up through a grate. There you go. And there's different techniques about bronze clay, silver clay, manipulations of that. There's some riveting techniques, hole drilling, a lot of wire kind of forming. That's a bezeling technique. Again, with the spirals. So it's nice to see these different techniques. This one is a lot more, I would say that this has a lot of like metal clay stuff in them. And it goes over all the tools you need. I'm missing a couple screws on my drill press. One day I'll set it up. And just $10. And this is a hard copy, hardcover.
Hardback.
I'm in this one. This is Margot Potter. It's funny, when she is telling me about this book, she's like, imagine a vanilla latte at Starbucks. Because usually she's like known for like glitter and big poppy flowers and stuff. And this is more I don't want to say sophisticated.
I was gonna say refined. I don't know that that's the word either, but
no, but it's a different side. So she did a cool thing where she made a project and then invited different artists to make their versions of the project. So it kind of inspires you to take different techniques that you see in books and then make them your own. So if you want me to sign this copy next to my project, I think she had one called Nights in Morocco, and I did
Woodstock Summer.
So her version, what was the name of it? Go flip it. Psychedelic bracelet. So she's using that calsilica, that dyed calsilica. And then so my interpretation of psychedelic was Woodstock Summer. And what was the original name? Psychedelic something? Psychedelia?
Psychedelia.
So I just imagine people tripping. And so that had a very like boho. And then there's one that's called Nights in Marrakesh or something like that. So this is a nice one. This is another one where you can take those and take those ideas and kind of make them your own. I also think that like it's good to look at these books even after it's been a while, because you can see how some things have like come back around. What is this? Oh, Nice in Carthage. What was hers called? Nice in Tunisia. So Carthage is an old name for Tunisia. So I try to play off of what she had, you know.
Yeah.
So that's a fun one. $8. That if you're a fan of the magazines from back in the day. All right. Now this one, there's a little bit of sun discoloring on the cover, but it's real subtle. And that's because where we had it, I think in the, the books were stacked. And then, so this is, so y'all may not know her, maybe you know her, but she was friends with Teresa Dart, was one of her friends, real close friends, but she did, I want to say she ended up going into textiles. So this shows you how to make ceramic beads and pendants, and then how to incorporate them into jewelry. And so there's a lot of like how, like, I think the first part of the book, I could be wrong. No, it shows you like how to wedge the clay and how to fire the clay and how to glaze things. So the first part is making the clay beads. And then the next part of that is how to use those clay beads and in your own designs. And so like ceramic, like any material, has its own quality. It's super strong and super durable, but you know, it can also shatter too if you drop it on like a hard concrete or something. So a lot of the designs like take into account that and show you how you can like, you know, string things up or wire wrap them or incorporate them in designs. And I think there's other stuff too. So there is jewelry, but then I think there are like, I don't know. I could be wrong. There's that book that there's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like goes through basic tools, making beads, decorating, bisque firing, ceramic techniques, and then the projects.
Mm-hmm. And so her style is a lot of like primary colors and circles and dots and swirls and bumps and things like that. A lot of dots, polka dots. And black and white with bright color was her thing. And she went into textiles and printing fabrics and stuff. And I think her store, she opened when that's not around anymore, but she opened around the same time that we opened. And it was all like fabrics that she had designed that looked like the cover of the book. She also used to be big in the blogging world. This is another wire book. Denise Peck. You probably recognize her name. She was the editor of a bunch of different magazines back in the day. And does a lot for wiredjewelry.com. I'm making stuff up. But, and this is another one that's very, like, she was an editor of the magazine, so a lot of the projects, she's done some of the projects, but they're also guests. So there's different people who are using wire in their ways. A lot of these are really kind of beginner friendly.
Yeah, they're like level 1, level 2.
So there are things that are pretty accessible, I think.
Looks like a good, wire manipulation book.
Mm-hmm. And a good like inspiration for projects with wire. So that's good. So this is BL34 and it's $10. I think, does this one have a DVD or no?
Mm-mm.
That one doesn't have a DVD, but there's a DVD out there in the world somewhere. All right, so this is an older book, but it's for the seed beaters out there. So there's a lot of like, that's French flowers, I think. French flowers. There's a technique called making French flowers. So you make the wire and beads. So there's ornaments and picture frames and a lot of seed beads. And like if you have beads that aren't good for weaving, then there's options for that. But there's a lot of kind of like craft elements of how to like make bookmarks and embellish pillows. You know, it's a very specific look. But those are really popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like the loomed look. And there's some peyote stitch. So this is kind of a basic. But then there's also things like, who would have thought, like a drink cover so you don't get roofied. Imagine going to like a club and then bringing out this beaded drink cover.
It's flowers.
Yeah, French flowers were a big thing in the 20s. So So there's some stringing things in here and some wire thing. It's kind of an all over the place. It is dated, you know, but there are still ideas in here though.
Ideas and techniques, and to make them your own.
Yeah. So
I think it's pretty cool.
yeah, I think there's some interesting things still in there. Your picture cover. But like this is a good, I mean, what is that? Is that
Rosette necklace, it says.
Yeah, but what's the stitch? It looks like brick stitch. Circular brick stitch. So anyways, if you need more written instructions, because I've done a ton of stuff on like this in some basic beadwork. $10. My people like bored to death.
Oh, we still have 19 people watching over here and a few on Instagram, I think. So, hey.
Oh, good. So this book is another good basic wire book. So if you want to start making wire jewelry, here's a good one. This is twisting wire, making those knots. You made one of those rings.
Mm-hmm.
I have a memory of.
Mm-hmm.
Did I? Is this a real memory?
I think so. Well, I think so. Was it with I forget who it was with.
Mm-hmm. The Eva.
It was either Eva or Q. I think Eva.
Okay.
I know.
Believe you. How many years ago? 10 years ago?
Oh, I know.
8 years ago? 9 years ago? Pandemic in between. So this is a good like primer for wire working. And I look at this book and I realize I wire wrap completely differently. And I've been doing it so long now, I'm not going to change. So, oh well.
Yeah, but if you're wondering or want to expand your wire wrapping skills,
this is a good introduction book for that.
Yep. S clasps, toggle clasps, simple clasps, swirl beads, wrapping briolets. We get questions on how do I wrap my briolet a lot. Making ear wires, good basics. Cheryl says it's fascinating.
So if you want, and then that one's only $5. Here's another $5. This is an earring book. So there is a lot of wire in this book. Specifically, oh, I make earrings like that, but different. But you know,
different,
kind of similar. So, anyways, there's a lot of different options for making earrings. So a lot of times, like earrings, people will just put like them on a head pin, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. I make those all day long, all the time, and I still sell them 20 years later. But if you want to kind of jazz it up and do a little bit more, here are a couple different options. There's a lot of wire wrapping and wire working to give you kind of ideas for like that's like the tassel kind of idea, and you can tell like when this book probably came out. I'm guessing. Do you want to play Price is Right? Is it 2008?
Let's find out. Where's the date? 2008. Andrew got it right. It's like he knows his jewelry, everyone.
That's because like That's when I started writing for books and magazines. So these were like, at one point, these were like cutting edge. Nobody had ever seen anything like this before. Now at this point, it's coming back around, but
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, some of those looks are so kind of like timeless that it doesn't matter. But $5, perfect match.
Right.
This one, Gene Campbell, who's Gene Cox now. Is it Gene Cox or Gene Campbell? She moved to Asheville. She used to be one of the editors for many books and magazines. She's probably written 30 books, maybe more, on jewelry making. The amount of work and effort that she's done into promoting the DIY jewelry sector is probably unparalleled to many of people. And when I say that, she's really a force of nature when it comes to that. So there was a book or a magazine back in the day called Stringing Magazine, which I wrote for. I don't think I'm in this book, but a lot of the designers had from that time period submitted stuff. And so this is kind of what I may have some pieces in here. Because that looks familiar. There's a couple things that look familiar. I don't know. So anyways, if you like Stringing Magazine, this is kind of like Stringing Magazine. Look how different she looks with that haircut. But anyway, so this is basically like Stringing Magazine, but in a book. That's our friend Lindsay.
Danielle Fox.
Liz.
Dustin.
I haven't seen him. I don't think he makes jewelry anymore.
Jimmy Hogsett.
This is a blast from the past, y'all. I don't think I was in this book. Maybe. Anyways.
Anyway.
So what's this lot number? Katie Wall.
Yeah, Lindsay Burt and Katie Wall.
Fusion Beads. Represent. No more Fusion Beads.
No, BL 38, $10. We're blasting through the past here. Reminiscing about people.
Yeah, it's a different, I don't know.
BL 39, the next to the last, $6. I want you to see, look how thick that book is for $6.
Look how they colored the edges too.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a book. Here's some projects. All of them have copper wire.
He's like, at this point, I'm done.
Yeah, get in there. I'm winding down. My throat's getting kind of dried out. So this is a good idea book for using copper wire.
Cool, a lot of wire stuff in this one.
It's all copper wire. So this is a nice thing where you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get some beads and go to the hardware store and get some copper wire, and maybe $35 in, and you already can make hundreds of projects.
Yeah, I've seen the emails. A lot of people are buying the wire working books.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that one just went too.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Because I think it's good. It's good to have those skills. And I think this is a really nice. That looks like a private part. Anyways, it's a good book with lots of
Yeah, look at all that. Like
when somebody says, "Oh, make us a spiral." Well, here's all the different
kind of spiral would you like?
You want squiggly spiral? You want coil on top of that.
You want to make links? Look at all these different
Some
kinds of
stars.
links.
That would be cool. Where's the project that just has star links?
Right.
Let's see that project.
Complete link set. Look at these
Holy
links.
smokes.
Look at all these links you can make.
All right. Somebody already bought this. Let's go.
I know. He's like, I'm done now. Okay, and then the last book for tonight.
Now, this is an artist monograph book, so it's a big, big book. If you don't know her, she has a piece in the Whitney. She's kind of like aspirational level, where like all of that's beaded. I think that's beaded. Glass
beads and cotton.
Holy smokes. If you want to pass out, I can make like one of those in like a day. And so her most famous piece is, I don't know if it's in this book, but she took and did a kitchen, and every surface in the kitchen is beaded. So she takes beading to like the next level. And she does these techniques where she would do all this intricate bead weaving, and clearly she's not doing it by herself. As you can see,
she's some help.
she's the white lady in there. But I mean, this is like borderline obsession. I love that. I want a beaded gold baby. I want that. Oh, look, Nickety Doodah gold. I love that too. You know I love gold.
Yeah, you do.
Uh-oh. Turn it. When I say uh-oh, turn it.
He's like, uh-oh, turn it.
I'm going to get in trouble. Channel's going to get blocked. So this is an artist monograph. If you don't know what that means, is sometimes when they have a show, they will, like an exhibition, they'll come out with a catalog that goes in conjunction with that, or they'll do kind of like a retrospective, and so they'll take and show all of the artist's work. She's made a ton of, they are going to show it. This isn't it, but this is, I love these. These make me crazy, but I love them.
These are,
it's all beaded. So it's not a pixelated image. It's all beaded. Like this is like lifetimes of work, but not by her. I mean, you know, she probably did a lot, but
yeah,
also had a lot of help.
Yeah, like there's a whole closet.
Even the Alpo. So this is a really beautiful book. This book is not like a how-to book.
No, but it's certainly full of inspiration and just make your mind-boggling creativity.
I think it's a collector kind of item where you know how some books go up in price? This is probably one of them. But I always love, like, it makes me, there's something very satisfying about seeing these surfaces that are so lushly and meticulously rendered. Here's a kitchen. This one is in the Whitney, I believe. And every surface is covered with beads. Every single surface. Can you imagine? Even if you cannot walk in on this. But she did these tapestries where then she meticulously beaded everything, and then took a hammer and then smashed out certain parts of it. And I don't know. I love her work. But there's like this obsessiveness, a repetition of patterns and texture. she's definitely, I have an artist crush. So, anyways, that's a really nice book. A nice thick book.
Oh, heavy book.
30
BL
bucks.
40, $30.
All right.
All right, y'all.
How was it? Y'all fall asleep?
How are y'all doing out there?
How's story time?
Doing okay? Hope you enjoyed this. We're down to 14 people watching. Some people bailed out. I don't blame you because I need to go too. So thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go grab some food.
I'm so hungry.
Please share this with your friends who you think might be interested in any of these books. A number of them have gone tonight, but a number of them still remain. So please.
More than one copy.
And he has more than one copy on a lot of them. So please feel free to share this with your friends who might even just find the talk interesting.
Also, if there's ever a time you need a book or want a reference, I'm going to pretend like I'm a librarian. And you can always email us and ask us and say, what would you say is a good enameling book? And then I can give you recommendations. Or if we have it, then I can offer that to you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we're going to have some, I think, some new stuff for you. So stay tuned. Got some good stuff coming up. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
See ya.